Very good afternoon and welcome back to Turkey. This is the Predator Turkey Open and we've got another juicy matchup ready to go as we have Mieszko, the Butcher, Fortunski from Poland taking on Ferdi Ozdemir from Turkey. The commentary booth we've got myself, Tim de Ruiter, and I'm gladly joined by my good friend and colleague Mark White. Well, you were wondering where the Butcher was. I guess the Butcher is back.
Yeah, actually did a match of his yesterday, Tim, and he was, well, outstanding. I thought he played absolutely brilliant. Now, if the lag's anything to go by, this is going to be a very, very tight match. Not sure it's going to be that tight, but Fortunski has won the lag. We'll get the first two breaks, and he looked very, very good yesterday. Only missed really 2 8 balls, Tim. Apart from that, he was pretty flawless. Played pretty well. Looking forward to another good performance from him. It's no secret he's one of my favourite players to watch. The left-hander from Poland. Very, very talented. Cues the ball well. He broke really well yesterday as well.
Yeah, definitely one thing that's going to help him is the fact we're playing 8-ball. Alternate break per 2 racks, so 2 racks each. It's a race to 7, and he does have a big break. So let's see what he can do with the Neon PK Rush. Well, if you look at that cue ball, Mark, I don't think there's anything else you should add to it. What a beautiful break that was.
I was just going to say, I think there's only one word for that. Perfect. But I daren't use that word in the same sentence as break, Tim, when I'm commentating with you, because I know how very, very picky you are, but even you gives that one credit. Yeah, great break, wasn't it?
Yeah, still maybe a little bit of work because the 6-ball. I think if he could draw back, if the 6 goes in the right center, then if he lands straight, he could play the 7 in the bottom center pocket in this view. Now I might like to draw into the 7-ball just because the 7 doesn't really go anywhere else. And also it's easier to control for maybe the 5-ball if you do not land right, but he's land plumb on the 7. Well, he's going to be able to drop to the bottom side of the table. This should be a very quick break and run, Mark.
Yeah, this is exactly how he started yesterday, Tim. He was absolutely scintillating. Just 2 missed blacks were the only really scar on his performance. But he played lovely little touch shots, beautiful little cannons, just like he did on that 6-ball to the 7. He's looking very trim, looking very good, Tim. Choices can go forward with a bit of left or round 2 rails with a bit of low right. Now he did miss a couple of 8 balls, as I mentioned, that he should have got. This is kind of just off straight, Tim, but shouldn't be a problem. Should be a perfect start.
Yeah, indeed, the perfect start. And if this is gonna set the tone for the match, that means we might have a lot of break runs coming. Well, if you're gonna be breaking the balls like that, a lot of break runs will be happening. I mean, definitely in 8-ball, one of the things that could stop any player is the break. What does help is the fact that the tables are tapped, so we can have the perfect conditions for the players. So more open layout you would expect. Not too many clusters if he keeps hitting him this square. Otherwise, most of the time the clusters will come. Well, definitely set the tone, Mark. I think he's fine to take either way. The stripes or the solids. Just the 10 ball laying a bit funny with the stripes. And if you go the solids, maybe I think he has too much angle on the 5 ball to hold for the 3 ball. So in that case could go to the bottom of the table. For the 4, maybe the 2.
Yeah, what a break again. Nothing makes a statement, Tim, like beginning the match with 2 break and runs, if he can manage that. It'll be the perfect start. And more importantly, kept his opponent in his chair for the duration. The lag was very, very tight. That's what differences we're talking about here. Just millimetres sometimes. Difference between Mieszko breaking or not. Now take that 10 now, Tim.
Yeah, definitely would like to take the 10 now. He's gonna go for the 14 first. Which, if he stuns the cue ball off the rail of the 10, as you can see, you could find the window between the 7 and the 8 to still be on the 14. So, interesting choice, but probably wanting to get a little closer to the 10 ball. As I mentioned, a very tricky one, difficult to sight the accuracy to get the aiming right with the side pocket point in the way. Yeah, he's missed that 10. And it's just always an ugly shot, Mark. That kind of position.
Well, now we are going to see the man from Turkey. Now, am I the only one, Tim, that didn't spot the Turkish flag inside the Predator cat? Did you spot it? I didn't. We're on day 3 already, and it passed me by.
Well, I did see it, but it's I think nowadays Predator does it in the details. I mean, they definitely have been working very creatively to not be too obvious, I would say. But we've seen the cat quite a bit now, so we'll have to give you a grade B for this. Now, what do we know about Ferdi Ozdemir, Mark? I know he's done really well at the European Senior Championships. I've known him for many years, but for a while didn't really play as much. So he's making a full comeback and is doing very well. He's now in the loser qualification to qualify for the last 32.
Yeah, looks seasoned, doesn't he?
Well, let's say he's got quite a lot of experience. He's organized some big tournaments. Also, I think it was in Cyprus. I'm not too sure. He used to have a system. You can see one of his sponsors, Billiard Port, live scoring system. He organized a tournament in Cyprus. I believe quite a big tournament following the EuroTour. So from multiple angles, I think he's seasoned, not just as a pool player itself.
Yeah, and this will be a reminder to Mieszko that he cannot afford to make mistakes like he did, unforced errors, he's got to remove them from his game. And this is the best way to punish a player when they miss a ball. Run your own set of balls. Nice little settler. Calm his nerves if he did have any. Now I have a question for you, Tim. I want to know more about the rest of. I just saw a Facebook post by yourself. Tell me all about this. It really, really caught my interest, actually.
Yeah, it's actually a really interesting thing. I just got the invite to play for team. Well, I can't really say it's team rest of the world because it's kind of a Dutch thing, but we actually have players from Belgium and France we have joining. So we have one province in the Netherlands, Limburg. It's in the south. And they always felt like they were better than the rest. Well, that's not really the point, but they are challenging all the other people around in 6-foot and 9-foot pool. So we will have to play in a team format, 6 players each. I think it's going to be a lot of fun. I think it's very challenging actually to switch the tables, for example, play a 6-foot match first and then go over to the 9-foot.
Yeah, I was wondering how much experience you actually have on. Is it English pool you're playing? 8-ball, yes? Is it 8-ball on the 6-foot or is it 9-ball? What are you playing?
It is 8-ball, but it's with the red and the yellows, and it's not the same as English pool. So I know, for example, that if you play rail first on a ball, you don't have to touch the rail after contact, for example. So there is a couple slight changes from our original 8-ball, but at least I get to play 8-ball, and I don't mind 8-ball at all. So, I mean, I had to go, of course. I had to take on the invitation.
And it's with the small white, is it, or the same size white?
I do believe it's the same size. I think it's kind of pool balls, like the regular size as we have here, but then red and yellow and a couple different rules. But it's been definitely 12 years ago, 12 or 11 years ago since I played it, so it's definitely been a while.
Well, Ferdy working his way through this rack. It was a good break. Made a ball and it's been there ever since, so maybe something to just make Mieszko think a little bit. Just let him dwell on that 10 ball that he missed down the rail a little bit longer. There he is on the short side of this, Tim.
Yeah, a bit high. But the good news is, I think... No. Looked like... Is he still considering taking on the 9? No, he must be playing that ball at the bottom. He must be playing the 11. Yeah, he is. Just checking what kind of angle he could get on the 12 ball later on. As I mentioned, I mean, Ferdy is a pretty experienced player and has beaten, for example, Ralph Souquet in the past. So, definitely capable of beating the big names. The only thing, though, and I mean, I hope to see it because that means we're going to have a very close, tight match. He does feel the nerves quite heavily, though. So, that's one thing I'm looking forward to see. I mean, that means he'll have maybe a chance to win, Mark.
Yeah, I mean, if he carries on like this, Tim, he's very capable of beating anyone, and I can see why he's beaten Ralph Souquet. Lovely shot he's played there with a little bit of inside left spin just to check the cue ball off the rail. Finished perfect. on this 8 ball. So it's a little message to Mieszko. And still has a break to come, Tim.
Yeah, completely turned around the match after, well, I had to say, he positioned himself very well on the 10 ball. And he only needed to drop the 10 in and probably would have been 2-0 for Fortunski. This is like a 360 happening as a scoreline. Now with a chance to go 3-1 up. Couldn't wish for a better start, really, Ferdi Ozdemir.
Not bad.
Yeah, not bad at all. I mean, in the end, with 8 ball, it's very simple. Make a ball on the break. Keep the cue ball on the table. Now, there is some work to do though. If you look at the 8 ball, might not go to the bottom right. And because of where the 2 stripes are laying, you kind of are forced into taking the stripes. So that means maybe you'll have to play to the short side of the 9. And I don't think a 9 ball does go to the top left in this view, so guess you will have to play the 11 in the side, or no, you might not even have it. In that case, it's gonna be tricky, the run out he's gonna play for. Obviously, he's still gonna try to get it done.
Straight away attacking the difficult ball. He's going to finish short side on this 9 ball. You feel, Tim, this is the real shot here, isn't it? If the 11 does pass into the side, he's not so bad. With these, see, it does.
Yeah, but gotta say, I think it's interesting he didn't take the 11 ball earlier then. Definitely would have liked to still have that ball over the corner at the bottom right, the one he started off his campaign with. Oh, and I think the shot clock got him a little bit there. Was dropping down, actually ready to shoot. Call this extension, and now, well, he's taking a bit more time. And I think it makes the shot a little trickier.
Not an easy shot, and he's missed into the same pocket that Mieszko played his last shot into. But this is a gilt-edge opportunity now, Tim, especially with the 9 ball away from the 1. There's nothing stopping him. Does have the problem with the 8 ball though.
Yeah, and sometimes you can weigh in the option to open up the 8. But in this case, with no solid really near the 8 ball, I would say try to get to the bottom side of the 8. No, has chosen to open up the 8 ball, but that means he will have to play a longer shot. Bit of a longer 7 ball. Is he gonna play for the 1 ball? In that case, we'll need a bit of a thicker stroke. Bigger stroke needed. And I would say that's definitely one of his trademarks, Mark. The bigger strokes seem to work very well for him.
Yeah, he's got great cue power, Tim, as he generates a lot of action into the cue ball. Couldn't have played that any better. Got an angle on this one ball. Didn't want to be straight. And opening up that 8 ball as he did. He's looking good here to play the last 2 solids into the top right. And then draw down for the 8 into the bottom left. And that's just okay.
And this way, I can imagine Ferdi being a bit disappointed. Could have taken a bit of a lead, a small lead, but yet so important with Fortunski's 2 breaks to come. Tied at 2 now. Fortunski with, I mean, obviously he does have the opportunity to get 4-2 on the scoreboard. So far, they've been trading the racks, 2 each.
Yeah, both with a break of serve, so to speak. We will be down to the quarterfinals by the end of tonight in the men's and the women's. And then we'll have the semi-finals and finals tomorrow, guys. Starting at 10 a.m.
Well, I gotta say, even though the tables are tapped, sometimes you can rack the balls just a little bit different. And this time the balls seem to react a lot different than the first 2 breaks. So I'm wondering, did he put them that little bit different? Don't think he really put a different stroke on the break.
Oh, 4 little clusters this time. 4 pairs. 2 solids. Well, the black and the 7, of course. The 1 and the 2. Or was that the 9? That's the 9 and the 2, I beg your pardon. The 1 and the... Sorry, the 5 and the 12. It's a bit of a mess, Tim, isn't it?
Yeah, definitely a hurdle to overcome. This is rough. I kind of like playing the 11 in the bottom. No, he's going solids. Is he gonna play for a cut on the 2 ball or a bank on the 2 ball, because he doesn't have the angle on the 6 to develop something, and no other solids next to the 2 ball.
And he did just take a sneaky peek at the 2. Was he looking at developing that, Tim? He's looking at the angle off 2 rails to go into the 2 or the 9.
Gotta say, Turkey does have a lot of 3-cushion specialists. And, well, I can imagine Ferdi able to play a bit of 3-cushion himself. Just play that wonderful. The only thing that it's not too great for him is the fact that he's landed straight. So he will have to take on a bit of a longer 3-ball, but as long as he puts himself straight, I think the run shouldn't be disrupted.
Played it well, got the cue ball well off the rail. Their last opportunity to have a shot at the €7,500, which is up for grabs to the winner, along with that trophy that you can see at the end of the arena. Played them well, Tim. Dry break punished.
Well, I wasn't gonna say something so early. Still wanting to see the 7-ball drop for any reason. But indeed, he's taking the opportunities nicely. As I mentioned, maybe it's not taking everything. But for Fortunski, feeling, hey, maybe I have a decent draw in the loser qualification to qualify for the last 32. Now suddenly it feels like, oh hey, this guy can play, you know, my break has to be on point. I kind of have to stay sharp or I lose. So I'm quite sure, I'm not going to call them alarm bells, but I'm quite sure he's given himself a head notice saying, okay, listen, play your game. You have to.
Last 32 coming up, 6 p.m. this evening, local time. Who's your favourite to win it, guys, in the chat? Who's your Euros on? I think this man has got as good a chance as any.
Now, one thing I find very difficult in fields like this is there is a lot of strong European players that can beat, for example, they can play one really good set against whoever. So they could beat any world champion, for example. But are they still capable in doing that in a quarterfinal or a semifinal? So that's a bit of a difference too. And we do have a lot of strong players in this field. So especially in 8-ball, I think it's so difficult to make a call. But
yeah,
one thing I can definitely add, Mark. It's gonna be a player that breaks the balls hard. It's not gonna be someone that plays a stop shot onto the break and hopes for just one of the two into the side. I'm quite sure it's gonna be a player that's gonna break the balls hard. I can put that out there.
Well, Petri Mäkinen comes into the conversation then. He's up against Stefan Kasper at the moment. We saw Stefan earlier really struggle. And it's the Finn that's 5-3 up as well on the German at the moment. That's over on table number 3 if you want to catch up with that one, guys. That's free to watch on Billiard TV. Stefan had a torrid time, didn't he? Earlier on, Tim.
Yeah, great cueist, but definitely let his head go a bit AWOL, I would say. I mean, wasn't in a bad, not in the best mind space, and well, he's definitely able to recover himself after a loss. So who knows? We might still see him amongst the rest. And I mean, back in the day, there was this moment where I remember you qualified for the last 32, and it didn't really matter if you qualified through the winners or the loser bracket. because you were gonna draw a champion anyways. Like, the field is so strong. So, you know, losing that one match and going over the one loss side, I don't think it's gonna make a big difference on the way to the title. The only thing is, well, you gotta play more matches, or you gotta play the extra loser qualification match.
Yeah, we'll square again after the 2 breaks. So it will be the Turk to break off twice next. 3-3, Tim. Can go any way, can't it? As you mentioned. A lot of experience in this senior player. Juan Carlos Exposito, the reigning newly crowned European champion of 8-ball, is in action, and he's 5-2 up against Martin Rosser from Germany. Ball straight in, another ball in. Good break, Tim. Or good result at least.
Well, it's the result that counts. But look at how much space he has on the table. Making 3 balls on the break. You've got... Well, that's another thing I was going to mention. If you play the softer break, and only go for that one ball going into the side pocket, the balls, they cluster up easier than if you break the balls hard. I mean, you have more chance of making, for example, what we've just seen, 3 balls on the break would be unlucky to get a cluster out of something like this. I mean, we've seen some great breakers already. Wojciech Cevcik is one of them. As you mentioned, Petri Makkonen is one of them. Don't forget, from France, actually, Fabio Rizzi also has done really well in Treviso in the European Championships 8-ball. I think he's finished 2nd or 3rd. For example, beating Niels Vayen in the quarterfinal. So definitely an outsider. Luca Men definitely breaks the balls really well. So there's so many great breakers. Roman Hibler was breaking the balls really hard, Mark.
Yeah, saw him, didn't we, on the stream earlier? Was it yesterday, maybe? All the days kind of rolling into one, Tim, at the moment.
Yeah, we are trying to catch up on our sleep, but not really happening so far for us, I guess. Now, a little bit of a positional mistake. I think he should have played this at least to where he would never get onto the rail. Can he still play this soft enough to not leave himself a major cut on the 3-ball? Well, even jacking up.
Good shot. He's not going away, Tim. He's not only staying with Fortunski, he's going to lead again after these last 2 balls are negotiated. Looking very comfortable as well. No sign of nerves if he has got any. Floor 3 confirmed. Just looking at the list, Tim, of players that have already qualified. It's quite the... Well, it's quite the names, actually. Yannick Bofels, of course, who we had on here earlier. Radislav Babica. Jan van Lierop, where did he come from? Haven't heard his name in this tournament or the European Championships, but he's through. Simon Kural, Luca Men, who you mentioned with a big break. Jakub Trobot. Tobias Bongers, Denis Laskowski, Dominic Regli, Dimitri Jungo, Roman Hebler, you also mentioned him, Daniel Maciel, another great player, Mustafa Alnar, Kasper Matikainen, Wojtek Shevchek, another big breaker, and Ugar Turku, already through to the last 32, waiting on the winners from all these matches going on now. Did I see a scratch, Tim?
Yes, you did see a scratch. And a bit of a turnaround possible. I mean, 4-3, Fortunski kind of needed a scratch too. And that's one thing I find really interesting with the two racks format. Is before it used to be just the alternate break. And the matches would climb up 1-0, 1 each, 2-1, 2 each, all the way up to Hill. But in this way, even at 5-3 or 5-4, 6-3, you know, these kind of score lines, you already have to be worried, kinda, knowing that your opponent could close it out on their own without you being involved. So this is important for Fortunski to at least get to 4 each.
Yeah, with 2 breaks to come as well. Taking a couple of long balls, Tim, to start off this. Oh, that could have so... Well, it has gone wrong, hasn't it, I think? Or has it? Oh, he doesn't look worried. Playing a bank, I think. He's banking the 12.
Wow, what a recovery shot he's played there.
Has he finished straight though, Tim? He might have to leave himself yet another long ball, the 9. Well, he has a slight angle going forwards. Yeah, nicely done. A little bit of a scary rack, Tim.
Yeah, but definitely that bank, he needed that bank to be able to continue this run. Just technically connecting 2 sides of the table to each other. Well, we are officially at a halfway point, I would say. This match proving or quite promising for us. Why could this not go all the way? But overall, I mean, I think I've only seen Mieszko miss that 10 ball early on. And besides that, he's playing some good stuff. Maybe a dry break. It's
Yeah,
in the
that was
very
it.
small details.
Well, looked like he left the arena, Tim. Yeah, I'm pretty sure he's gone for a timeout. Mieszko will have to wait, and so will you guys. Tim Deraita and myself will be back when the players are ready for action again. Till then, we'll leave you a little look at table 2.
So we are back. Both players are ready, and as you can see, Fortunski ready to give the balls a big whack. And now, last second, the 10 ball going in front of the 3 ball. But how well are the stripes spread mark?
Yeah, perfect, aren't they?
Yeah, 9, 13, 15, 11, 14. I mean, there's so many ways you can play this actually. I don't like to play this 11 ball now. I'd rather shoot a 13 then if the 9 ball feels a bit pressuring.
Yeah, 8 ball is in such a position where it's easy to get on really from wherever you are, unless you end up dead straight going the wrong way on your last ball, but shouldn't be any problems here. Sport for choice, Tim.
Yeah, gonna leave the 12 ball into the center. Most natural shape, of course. Catches 13 half ball with a bit of left. Roll into the angle. Now, I know we are very happy to see so many breaker rounds, such a good match. But I have to say, in this format, this is what it takes to win one of those Euro Tours, or to win, for example, the European Championship 8-ball. Because if you break the balls well, the balls will be most likely more in the open. And I've seen matches with 10, 12 breaker runs. Maybe even, well, occasionally even more. So I kind of like the fact that both players are putting on such a performance, because that also gives me a vibe that the winner of this match will most likely have a good chance to go further in the tournament.
Yeah, Fortunski has won a couple of Euro Tours and a Euro Championship as well, so he's used to staying the distance. Still only 33, Tim, so he's got a few years left in him yet. He doesn't want an unlucky kiss. Now then. Messy.
Yeah, another trick actually, a very strong 8-ball player once taught me this, Mark, is when you have broken the balls, and you see that, obviously you're gonna see if a ball drops, yes or no. Go to change your cue as soon as possible and don't look at how the balls end on the table. Because when you change your cues and when you get back to the table, you actually have a new, fresh look at the table. So you might not be dwelling already on, for example, the 2, 3, 12 cluster while changing the cue. I mean, I kind of believe this works, but he doesn't do it, so hopefully it doesn't affect him.
Yeah, I can kind of see the sense in that. I also see it's a couple of extra few seconds that you've got to look at the table if you are looking on your way back, kind of thing, as you turn round and walk away, just having a longing look. Well, that's one of them out in the open. Does the 3-ball go as well now? I think it does, short side. Probably going to have to play a long 6 here. He's looking at the 2-ball. Surprised me a little bit, Tim, that he tried to do so much off that 2-ball. It wasn't easy into the side. Wasn't guaranteed to get on it either, was he?
Yeah, a bit of a risk, and this is probably the first emotion we've seen from Fortunski. If you seen him shake his head, obviously he's gonna feel like he should have made it. But this was also to get on the hill, and obviously towards the end, a mistake hurts more than in the beginning of the set.
Yeah, you know, with what he was trying to do with the cue ball, I'm not surprised at all that he did miss it. I thought he might take on the long 6, Tim, and hold for the 5 ball and then go from there. Just the safety.
Yeah, actually, I would say this is a pretty good save. I don't think Mieszko can get onto the 2 ball into the center, and he's even going for a long 6 ball. Knowing that if he had missed it, probably would not have left something else on, a bit of a 2-way. And how well has he struck that? Plus, maybe he could still do something. Open up the 3 ball from this position.
Yeah, a bit riskier now that he won't have the 2 there. But what else does he do? Might power this. Yeah, gone wrong. I think he does have the 5, Tim, to the top left. He's got to avoid the scratch and 2 strike balls as well.
Yeah, he's running not so great so far. I mean, that cluster, we could have seen this coming right after the break, right? Where the cluster shaped all around the 12 ball, and it's gonna play a safety. It's 2 against 5 though, so it will be easier for Ferdi to play a safety somewhere than for Fortunski.
Yeah, the good news is, though, Mieszko has a ball in each half of the table, so that's 1 little bonus. He's going to have trouble covering both. Yeah, I don't think he's got it, Tim. Or maybe he has.
Yeah, you would assume that if he would have a shot, he probably would have already been down to shoot. He's quite offensive. This Mieszko Fortunski like to go aggressive. This is shaping up to be a thriller. Ferdi now with ball in hand. 5 stripes and the 8. Take the 12 first. Run up to the 15 to the top left maybe, and the rest is history, I would say. Well, he's even taking the 15 first. He's using a lot of his time though, deciding where to put the cue ball. And he likes actually to go to the top side of the table first more than to pick up the 12 ball. Is that not a bit of an odd decision, Mark?
Well, the general rule is clear one end and then concentrate on the other. There's a bit of up and down here to go though now, isn't there? Oh, and he's miscued Tim. Oh, he's played right across that. Well, my snooker coach in my young days, when I was just a teenager, used to say the difference between a pro and an amateur is a pro chalks his cue before he miscues. But of course, chalk not always the reason. Bad cueing, sometimes to blame as well, but he's done a little bit of damage to his tip by the looks of it.
Well, definitely a scary thing to experience. Knowing that your tip is a little bit ruined on the sides or something, well, can kill your confidence, even though it's such a small piece of equipment you have. And this does put the butcher on the hill.
Yeah,
6-4.
I'm sure he'll go and get his tip tool to do a bit of running repairs out of his bag. Well, he's not, so no lasting damage, thankfully, on his tip.
Well, as you can see, we still have a lot of action to come from Turkey. So a couple rounds for today. We have a 6 p.m. Turkey time and a 9 p.m. Turkey time still to come. So make sure to stay tuned at Pro Billiard TV. We will be going for a short little break, but we will be right back with the remainder of this match between Fortunski and Ozdemir. And as you can see, both players are waiting for Ferdy's break. Mark White and Tim Druiter in the booth. We won't be having any more timeouts to come. Only one timeout per player. Yeah, now Verdi needs to get something going. Missed the opportunity to make it 5 each. And he needs actually 2 perfect break and runs in order to get this match onto the hill. So now, not too many issues. Could say that 15, I think it's the 15 next to the red 3 ball. Maybe not as easy to land on. But it does go into the center. So maybe could go off the 11 to the 15 right now. Pick up the 14.
He's got something else in his mind.
Well, he's played this absolutely perfect, Mark. He had to land straight onto this 15 to get onto the 14, and I think he's got the perfect position to move forward. What is it? A ball or 2 to make the 14 and come out of the reel. Doesn't want to be straight. Who? Because straight would have been very awkward to get something on the 12.
Well, whatever happens in this match, he's equipped himself very, very well, I think, the Turk.
Oh, and that could be the final blow, Mark.
Yep, the final nail in the coffin maybe for this year's Predator Turkish Euro Tour. Just this rack needed for Mieszko. And you fancy him from here, Tim, to clear up. 4 ball will be, I'm not sure it'll be his last ball.
Well, he has to pick up the 5.
Yeah, he could play 3-4. Or he's going to go 7-3-4-5, possibly, Tim.
Yeah, just have to be careful. I think the only thing that I can see going wrong on this is when you play the 4 into the corner and it actually catches a piece of the 14. And the 14 coming in between the cue ball and the 5. That's probably the worst thing that could happen to Fortunski. But what a match we've seen. High standard. Just towards the end. Small mistakes. And Fortunski now 3 balls away to get to the last 32. Don't forget, we will have a lot more action to come from Antalya, Turkey. So make sure to stay tuned on ProBilliard TV. Make sure you set the notifications. Because at 6 p.m. Turkey local time, we will have another round coming up for you, and 9 p.m. as well. And of course, a full day tomorrow.
He knows the end is near.
Yeah, and as you can see, Fortunski advancing through. Great performance. Unfortunately for Ozdemir, this is the end for this year's Turkey Predator Open. Now, as I mentioned, our next round is at 6 p.m, so make sure to stay tuned. Mark White and Tim de Ruiter signing off for now. We'll see you later.